They tell you that the funniest comedians just want to make you laugh. That comedy is about entertainment, not politics. That the best stand-up acts keep things light and avoid heavy topics. But there was one black comedian who proved that theory dead wrong. And the moment he stepped on stage and started telling the truth, America decided he wasn't funny anymore. He was dangerous. Before Dick Gregory, black performers knew their place. You could sing, you could dance, you could play the fool if it made white folks comfortable. But you could not stand flat-footed on a stage and tell white audiences exactly what you thought about them. You could not use their own laughter against them. You could not turn their comedy clubs into courtrooms where racism was on trial.
I really want you to be a fucking coon, like a dancing fucking nigger. Like, what do you say? House nigga, field nigga, still nigga.
Nigga, OG demeanor, they don't fuck with them. Rap nigga, trap nigga, lover boy, gang member. You can call it what you want, nigga.
Still nigga.
Until 1961, when Dick Gregory walked into the Playboy Club in Chicago and changed everything. The kid from the St. Louis projects didn't just crack jokes. He cracked the whole system wide open. And that's when the real trouble started. Picture this scene. It's a cold February night in 1961. The Playboy Club is packed with white businessmen, socialites, and celebrities expecting the usual black entertainer. Maybe some singing, maybe some dancing. Safe, predictable.
This is just a reminder to y'all, to entertain means to distract, if y'all fucking forgot.
Steps up to the microphone and opens with this energy. You know, I sat in at a lunch counter for 9 months. When they finally integrated, they didn't have what I wanted. The room goes quiet. Then he hits them again. Last time I was down south, I walked into this restaurant and this white waitress came up to me and said, "We don't serve colored people here." I said, "That's all right. I don't eat colored people. Bring me a whole fried chicken." The audience doesn't know whether to laugh or leave. But Gregory isn't finished. For the next hour, he turns segregation into punchlines, makes Jim Crow laws sound ridiculous, and forces every white person in that room to see their own racism reflected back at them through humor. They can't get mad because they're too busy laughing. They can't stop listening because it's too honest to ignore. By the end of the night, Dick Gregory has done something no black performer had ever done before. He has used comedy as a weapon. That performance changed his life overnight. Television appearances on Jack Parr's Tonight Show followed. Comedy albums, national recognition. Or Gregory became the first black comedian to regularly perform for white audiences without putting on a character or playing it safe. His jokes had teeth. His humor had purpose. And America's power structure took notice. Because when a black man can make white people laugh at their own prejudice, he's not just an entertainer anymore. He's an educator. And that makes him dangerous. But what Gregory did next made him something even worse in their eyes. A threat. By the way, if you want more stories about how America tries to silence black truth tellers, subscribe to Black Stories Untold. Now, back to what happened when Dick Gregory left the comedy stage and walked straight into the civil rights battlefield. The year is 1963. While other celebrities send checks or make statements, Dick Gregory is in Birmingham getting beaten by police batons. While other comedians are playing it safe in nightclubs, Gregory is sitting in southern jail cells. He doesn't just support the movement, he funds it. When 3 civil rights workers disappear in Mississippi during Freedom Summer 1964, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner, Gregory puts up $25,000 of his own money as reward money to find their killers. That's more than $200,000 in today's money, coming out of his own pocket. This isn't charity, this is revolution. Gregory uses his celebrity and his earnings to bankroll resistance. He marches with Martin Luther King Jr., gets arrested dozens of times, shows up wherever black people are fighting for their lives and their rights. In Selma, in Montgomery, in Mississippi, in Washington. Always in the front lines, always willing to bleed, always ready to pay the price. But here's what made Gregory truly dangerous to the system. He didn't just fight racism, he connected the dots. In his comedy routines and his speeches, he linked segregation at home to the war in Vietnam. He pointed out how America could send black boys to die for democracy overseas while denying them democracy at home. He made audiences see the hypocrisy was not accidental, it was systematic. When someone can make people laugh and think and get angry all at the same time, that person becomes a problem. And in 1968, Dick Gregory became the biggest problem of all. He decided to run for president. Think about the audacity of that moment. This is 1968. Martin Luther King Jr. has just been assassinated in April. Robert Kennedy murdered in June. The Democratic National Convention turns into a war zone in Chicago. The country is literally burning. And into this chaos steps a black comedian from St. Louis saying he wants to be president of the United States. Not as a publicity stunt, as a serious candidate with serious ideas.
You gotta be part of those 13 bloodlines, baby boy. Is you part of those 13 bloodlines? You feel me? That's the only way you're gonna get in that motherfucker.
Fighting poverty and dismantling racism. Gregory runs as the Freedom and Peace Party candidate in some states, as a write-in in others. His platform is simple: stop the war, end segregation, feed the hungry. When the votes are counted, more than 1 million Americans have written Dick Gregory's name on their ballot. A black comedian has just proven that humor plus truth plus courage equals political power. And that terrified people in Washington. This is where the story gets darker, and where we see how America really deals with black people who refuse to stay in their lane. Because while Dick Gregory was making people laugh and making them think, J. Edgar Hoover's FBI was making plans. Gregory's name appears in FBI files under surveillance programs designed to neutralize threats to American security. Not arrest them, not charge them, neutralize them. The documents that have been declassified paint a chilling picture. Federal agents monitoring Gregory's speeches, his travel, his finances, phone taps, mail intercepts, plans to disrupt his activities using informants and provocateurs. Some reports even suggest discussions about using organized crime contacts to handle the Gregory problem permanently, all because a comedian refused to stick to telling jokes. This is the same FBI apparatus that was targeting Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and every other black leader who spoke truth to power. But Gregory was different.
It's like
he had mainstream white audience.
They always get the fouls and start making plays against us when we were revolutionary, and that just shows the power. And I don't give a fuck what nobody else say, because when you think about it, no other fucking leader, if we're really just all the same and everybody's the same, why the fuck when a white leader rise to the occasion, they don't create files against them and get the FBI and CIA against them? Why the fuck when an Indian leader rise, why the fuck when a Mexican leader rise, they don't do the same shit, nigga? Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here with the bullshit, bro. Fuck out of here.
Who loved him.
Because they know our potential, my nigga. They can't, like, they gotta stop that shit, nigga. They gotta spread the lies, nigga. They gotta start spreading propaganda, nigga. Like, come on, bro. Think about it.
Protection.
Just think about it.
He had money and lawyers and publicity. He was harder to isolate, harder to dismiss, harder to destroy. So they tried a different approach. They tried to make him self-destruct. Gregory began engaging in extended hunger strikes to protest the Vietnam War and various injustices, some lasting weeks, others lasting months. He would fast until he looked skeletal, until his health was in real danger, using his own body as a protest sign. Was this his own choice? Or had the pressure, the surveillance, the constant threat finally gotten to him? The man who had used food analogies in his comedy was now refusing food entirely. The comedian who had made people laugh was slowly starving himself in front of them. But here's what the FBI and the power structure didn't understand about Dick Gregory. You can't neutralize someone who has already decided that his truth is more important than his comfort, more important than his safety, more important than his life. Every time they pushed him, he pushed back harder. Every time they tried to silence him, he spoke louder. Every time they tried to contain him, he found a new platform. In the 1970s and beyond, Gregory kept evolving. He became a health and nutrition advocate, kept performing, kept protesting, kept connecting dots that other people preferred to leave unconnected. When Native American activists in Washington state were fighting for fishing rights, Gregory went to jail with them and fasted in solidarity. When any group faced injustice, Gregory showed up. The comedian had become a professional agitator, and he was good at it. Here's the full picture of what made Dick Gregory so dangerous and why his story matters more than ever. He proved that a black man could use humor not to make white people comfortable, but to make them uncomfortable. He showed that entertainment could be education, that laughter could be resistance, that a microphone could be a weapon. He demonstrated that celebrity comes with responsibility and that fame without purpose is just noise. But most importantly, Dick Gregory revealed the system's greatest fear. Not that black people would get angry. They expected that. Not that black people would fight back. They were prepared for that. The system's greatest fear was that black people would make white people see themselves clearly, laugh at their own contradictions, and then demand change. Because when you can make your oppressor laugh at their own oppression, you have already won half the battle. Gregory didn't just open doors for black comedians. He kicked holes in the entire structure of American entertainment, American politics, and American power. He took the energy of the comedy club and brought it to the civil rights movement. He took the courage of the freedom fighter and brought it to the television screen. He proved that there was no such thing as just a comedian when that comedian was telling the truth about America. The FBI surveillance, the neutralization plans, the attempts to pressure and intimidate him into silence. All of that was America's response to a black man who refused to be just funny, who insisted on being fearless. who used his platform not just to entertain, but to educate and agitate and organize. They didn't fear Dick Gregory because he was vulgar. They feared him because he was accurate. Today, every black comedian who uses the stage to talk about police brutality, every entertainer who speaks out about injustice, every celebrity who uses their platform for activism owes a debt to Dick Gregory. He proved it could be done. He showed the way. He paid the price. And he lived to see some of the changes he fought for become reality. Dick Gregory died in 2017 at the age of 84, still performing, still protesting, still connecting dots. The kid from St. Louis who learned to make people laugh had taught America something it didn't want to learn. That humor plus truth plus courage is the most dangerous combination in the world. That laughter can be a form of resistance. That the funniest joke of all might just be the idea that black people would ever be satisfied with just entertaining you instead of changing you. If you want more stories like this,
to entertain me and to be distracted. What the fuck are they trying to distract us from? That's the question.